Hi, welcome back to Spider's Web. Today I'm going to get to do an interview with someone who truly is a legend. He just celebrated his 98th birthday a few months ago, and I'm talking about the amazing Ken Nordine. He's one of America's most renowned voiceover and recording artists. He was especially well known for a series called Word Jazz that started in the 1950s and was produced on NPR radio, and those recordings exist to this day. He has done voiceovers for so many commercials and so many major events. He has worked on recording projects with the likes of Chico Hamilton, Jerry Garcia, Howard Levy, just to name a few, and including David Bowie as well. And he was actually Linda Blair's vocal coach on the film The Exorcist. What a crazy career. You may not know his name or his face, but you certainly will recognize his voice.
There was this stranger who came into our town. He was tall and had a dark look about him, and a special brilliance was in his eyes. When he looked at us, there was the feeling that he could see right down to the bottom. We may have been mistaken in this, but at the time, no questions were asked. The questions always come later. All we cared about was the mystery we sensed in this stranger, and we waited to see what would happen. One evening that was different from any other, he got us all together in the big auditorium. He stood there on the huge stage. The only light was on him. And we waited in the dark.
So Ken Nordine, what a joy to meet you. This is just a trip.
Well, it's lovely to have a beautiful woman come and meet me.
Oh, I have a face for radio.
Yeah. and a chuckle for radio, too. It's amazing what radio picks up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In fact, it's your own imagination that creates the image. So someone hearing me talk, oh, who's that old guy? What is he doing? What is he up to?
Your voice is well, I mean, one of the most legendary voices.
One of the oldest voices around.
Well, it just happened to work out that way.
Yeah.
But
I'm
no,
amazed
your voice is incredible.
Well, it's an old voice now.
And it still sounds amazing.
I don't think you lose. I think that's the last thing to go.
Yeah, for some people that don't use their voice correctly, it goes away. Can go away when you're 19.
But it's always with you. Your sound, your whatever it is.
Yeah, that unique sound. And I've got to ask you, when did you first start doing the announcer stuff, or did it come out of radio, or when did it actually begin?
Well, years. I don't know how many years ago. Something minus 98. Someone said, "Hey, you have a good voice," and of course, my ego went, oh gosh, that's nice. Thank you. And so I went into radio. It was educational radio, or they BEC here in Chicago, Board of Education. Is where they got the signal. And it was on the air about 2 hours a week. And they had to have...
That's a long broadcast time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 24 hours a day now. But then it was just a little thing that they had. on the side on FM and public radio, and I was around. So I was half of that 2 hours a week that we did.
Wow.
And I forget what the heck we do.
Did you create your own programming?
Yeah,
Oh, that's exciting.
I did word jazz.
So that was when Word Jazz started.
Yeah, I was doing word jazz when.
Oh, so it was already going
Yeah.
before it went on radio. And
Yeah.
that was when? Was that in the 50s?
My gosh. I have a very twisted feeling that my time is both what was and what is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think of it in terms of what I was doing or even trying to do. It was a way of showing off, which of course what the ego does. You have a little ego inside you that says, "Hey, I'm here too."
Yeah.
And consequently, you not only have the joy of placing yourself in a place where you'll be heard, but then you have the fact that you are heard, not only by the audience, but by you, because you hear yourself talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the marvelous thing about recording. You can hear what you really are immediately.
Wow. I love how you put that. That is so true.
It's why we are hung up many times on the sounds that we can make with our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, mind. How are you, baby? Fine.
Right now, before we go anyplace else, I want you to go with me to a special place that I know. It's a museum, but it isn't an ordinary museum. It's a very abstract museum in which they show sound paintings. If you can say that you show sound. But I don't see why you can't. But here we are in this corridor. Some of the most beautiful works of art are here. Here's one right here. This is by a very fine young artist. Here, let me turn it on.
All right, you have this incredible recording studio that was built in your home.
It still is there.
And I got to see it last time I was here, and I was blown away. The size of that and the amount of incredibly diverse and interesting artists that have been in that studio and recorded.
Very interesting. When you have a studio that is what is modern,
Mm-hmm.
and you can hear what you do and then hear it immediately, and you'd be surprised how many people become interested from their own standpoint.
Sure.
What they can do with it. And of course, I would love to show off the studio.
Yeah,
So,
I guess so. And the fact that you produced a lot of commercials and
that's what started the studio. I would talk to myself many times. What are we going to do now? Well, we'll think of something. And then actually have 2 tracks or more of myself talking to myself and thinking about what I'm talking about at the same time.
I love it.
Which
love
is
it.
what we all do.
Yeah, yeah.
But a studio that can capture all that is really an extension of your spirit or soul or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so word jazz was, I would think about something and then think about thinking about it, and became involuted in such a wonderful way that
Oh, yeah.
arguing with an echo.
And I've heard those word jazz pieces where you're arguing with the echo. They're amazing, and they're just so provocative and so interesting and timeless. I mean, it is so fresh and fun to listen to this day. I mean, just really cool stuff.
Well, I still do it.
Yeah.
Here I am, almost a century old. How time,
Whew.
it doesn't fly.
Tonight I have a friend with me here who is hooked on TV. Jim, when did you first contract the TV habit?
3 years ago, Ken, I became an idiot.
Vidiot? Is this a term that I don't understand too much about being
Well, that's what people call ourselves.
vidiots?
Yeah.
Well, how did this happen? How did you get into this terrible situation that has torn your soul so far apart?
Oh, it was when I started watching Milton Berle.
Milton Berle.
Well, I got sort of wrapped up in it.
Was this
you
a
know.
friend of yours?
No, he's a fellow that's on television.
Oh, I see.
I see you don't watch television very much, huh?
Well, I have had other interests, and that's why but we're discussing you.
Oh,
Aside from you being an incredible voice for for films and for commercials and so many things, but the word jazz stuff, one of my favorite stories about that is when you worked with Fred Astaire on your very famous piece.
You know that Fred, I found out was a great fan. I did a midnight show on public radio. That's how it started out.
Uh-huh.
And he heard me, and he heard the records I made, Word Jazz, the son of Word Jazz. And he invited me to appear with him, but I wouldn't appear. I'd hear myself appearing. And so he danced to My Baby, and actually had a beautiful Mary Chase to dance with him
Uh-huh.
as an imaginary but beautiful grown-up baby. And he was such a gentle man, he was.
Oh, beautiful, and what an amazing talent. But I saw the television piece with Fred Astaire and the beautiful girl, and the way it plays out is it's this, hipster guy talking about his baby, and then the end is the surprise that she actually talks like a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretended I was her in a third person sense, and then after the whole bit is you don't know that it is a baby.
No, you don't know till the end, and it's
Until
such
the
a
end.
laugh. It's so brilliant.
I think I'm a little devious in a sense.
Everything's beginning to swing in a quiet, cool, warm way. My baby didn't say anything. Just looked at me with that special look my baby has. I look back with that special look I get. When my baby looks at me with that special look she gets, I couldn't help myself. It was love for sure. I picked my baby up, danced over to the stage, and I told the leader, this is my baby. He just said, crazy. My baby gave him a special look, like she does. He could see my baby had eyes to swing, so he adjusted the mic and simply said in his complicated way, of course. And my baby's shy, so I gave it the first try.
I hope you enjoyed our time with the amazing Ken Nordine. If you like what you heard today on Spider's Web, please come back. Tell 50 of, count them, 50 of your closest friends about the podcast. I have podcasts that are new every other week. And also check out my website, spiderjazz.com. I have accompanying recipes that go with the episodes. Also, lots of cool stuff on there. You can hear my recordings, see where I'll be playing in the near future, and email me. I'll be in touch, and I will pester you till the end of your days. Until next time, this is Spider Saloff signing off from Spider's Web.
There were those among us who were jealous and so forth. You know what they did. Little by little, a little later, they put us back on the narrow path. This is the way things have been in our town for as long as anyone cares to remember. By the way, how are things in your town?